What do I need to know about your childhood to understand your journey through startup and through entrepreneurship right now?
I give you a quick context about what I was doing when I was 13. All of my friends around me subscribed to Facebook at the time. And I was like, I don't want to spend my time doing this. And one day coming back to school, I received a message from a guy that was an e-commerce owner, and he wanted to buy an advertising post on my Facebook fan page.
How did you felt being the strange kid? Because when you are young and you're the strange kid, it's different.
I felt myself, I'm not part of my circle of friends, of people around me, because all of the interests that you have are completely different than the other ones. I started to put pressure into myself, but the key point that I learned is that that's fine to have put pressure into yourself. That's fine to have super bold ambition and so on. But the key point is you have to remember always where you started. Because if you remember always where you started, you can realize already the things that you achieved were great compared to other people that started with totally different context.
If today was your last speech, what do you want to be remembered for?
You can do whatever potentially you for real want to do. Realize yourself, you're living the life that you want to live. That's the only thing that matters.
This isn't your usual podcast. In every episode, I sit down with remarkable people and dig into their lives. We talk about their wins, but we don't stop there. We ask the big questions. Why are they succeeding? What drives them when no one's watching? Where does that fire come from? If you ever felt like you're meant for more, these conversations will give you insights and tools you can start using today to make your dreams come true. I'm Alin Ionescu, and this is the Leader's Lifebook. Open it, take notes, and start writing your own chapter. Hi, Riccardo. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for accepting my invitation. First question for you is, how are you?
I'm doing good. I mean, it's a Saturday morning right
Yeah.
now. I'm doing good. I'm working in a fundraising process for my startup. So every day is an incredible roller coaster. One day you feel like Elon Musk. The day later, everything sucks around you. So it's not so easy manage this emotional roller coaster. But I'm fine. Happy to do this chat with you.
Thanks. Yeah, I know that the fundraising process it's not easy. But one thing that I think about when I hear your name and when I see you, the only word that comes up to my mind is startup. So when I think I don't know why, but when I see you, it's like, oh yeah, the startup guy. Because since I know you, and maybe you don't understand, but one time I invited you to a webinar in the university project that I was running. It was like 6, 7 years ago,
How
and
it
you
was
were
the name
working.
of the?
It was Sapienza in Movimento, the project.
Okay.
Yeah, and we had a chat with a few other startup guys in Italy, Um and it's crazy. You're still in this world, right? Riding and ramping up this startup world. So it's very funny to me to yeah, to think about you and only thinking about startup.
Yeah.
And the thing that I wanted to ask first is, what do I need to know about your childhood to understand your journey through startup and through entrepreneurship right now?
Wow, that's a very great question. So basically, I give you a quick context about um, what I was doing when I was 13, something like that. So my lucky moment was when I was at 13.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that I was at school. All of my friends around me subscribed to Facebook at the time. All of them were playing games like Farmville and games like that. And I was like, I don't want to spend my time like doing this, playing this type of games. I would like to be on Facebook, be on social media, like in a proactive way, in some sort. And what I started doing was like building Facebook fan pages where I posted meme and bullshit stuff over there. And the first page that I built, the name was like Il Senso Doppio, something like that. And we reached 300K in followers in 3 months, totally organic growth, because at the time you
Yeah.
couldn't like do paid advertising and so on. And one day coming back to school, I received a message from a guy that was an e-commerce owner, and he wanted to buy an advertising post on my Facebook fan page. So at the age of 13, I realized, wow, I could make some money with Facebook. I want to do this for the rest of my life. So like some lights into my mind were like open in some ways. And what I did was like spending all of my years during high school learning things about like this world, digital marketing world, startup ecosystem, and so on. And I was like a kid where I was like super lonely kid. I didn't want to go with a lot of friends, out with a lot of friends. I was the type of kid that where I don't know during how can I say like do you know where when at school at 11 a.m. you have like
The break.
yeah, exactly, the break. And I was the kid where when the break was like there, I I was in my classroom. I didn't want to go out like
Okay.
into
Okay.
the yard and so on. So
You were the
I was
strange
at
kid.
yeah, because like I don't know exactly why, but I felt that I don't know. It was something like not so common inside of myself than like other friends at a time. And I love the idea. I started loving the idea about like entrepreneurship, building stuffs, and so on. I was like, I felt myself like a little bit, I don't know, the people around me don't understand what I love to do right now, not like later, but right now during high school. And I think that all of these things that I lived shaped a lot, like the journey that I started like doing years and years ago. So yeah, I think could be like something good to share to understand how what I lived before uh, defined in some ways the journey that I decided to follow.
How did you felt being the strange kid? Because on the long term, um, as we know, maybe through podcasts and stories, the strange kids are the one that I don't know, are different, and in the long term, maybe it pays off. It could pay off, but when you are young and you are the strange kid, it's different.
Yeah, it was like not a good thing, like because um, I felt myself like a little bit. I don't know. I'm not part of my circle of
Mm,
like friends of people around me because like all of the interests that you have are completely different than the other ones.
yeah.
So I remember at a time during school and so on, I wasn't I wasn't like good a lot with myself in general. I started to like improve my quality of life and so on after finishing high school at 18 because I moved to from Sicily. I was born there. I was born in Messina. I moved from London and I decided to not go to university and start working in a startup ecosystem. And when I moved there, I realized that like okay, right now finally I can meet all of the people that I want to meet with common interests, with common ideas, with a similar ambition. But like at a time when I was at the school, everything was extremely like limited, because like the city small, the people that you can meet like numbers, super limited number, and yeah, so at the time was I think a little bit hard, absolutely. um and the hardest part I think was like consider that you have a sort of environment where all of the people around you like are doing, they were doing like different things, for example studying at school, going to university, and so on. And like also my parents pushed me to do that. They pushed me to, okay, no, Rick, you have to study at school, you have to go to university after that, and so on. And the hardest part I think was that like convince myself and people around me, in particular my parents, that the type of journey wasn't mine.
Mm-hmm.
And and the only way that I could prove like my parents that I had something better to do was like spending all of the years during high school like crazy and on studying things, meeting people on LinkedIn. I remember when I was 16, I subscribed to LinkedIn, and like I wanted to reach the 500 plus connection status, because I think was like, oh wow, I'm
Yeah.
great. And so I started sending, I don't know, a lot of connection requests to random people. And few of the people like message to me on LinkedIn and say, "Hey man, wow, you are 16. Let me know how I can help you," and so on. And so I started doing a lot of networking. I launched a lot of side projects. All of them failed, but the great thing is that few people started building trust into myself. No,
Mm-hmm.
and so after finishing high school, I was like, I had a list of people that potentially I can start work with.
Whoa.
uh, but like I did that because I knew that was the only way to be able to move from Messina to somewhere else at 18, start working in a space, in a startup ecosystem with not doing university, and be my parents like, you know, happy about the journey that I was starting to jump in. So yeah,
Wow. Wow. 16 and on LinkedIn sending connection.
I
It's
don't
a
know
great.
how.
But it's crazy. Oh, yeah. No, it's crazy to think about it. Have you felt a moment in which you thought, okay, this is working in the whole journey? I mean, so uh, maybe from the transition.
I think that I'm not like remember. Yeah, I'm thinking about like a specific moment, especially I don't know during the high school at the beginning. I think that like there wasn't a specific moment,
Okay.
but I had specific people that
Okay.
pushed me. So like I realized I have few people that I met at a time, and I realized thanks like their examples that potentially I can live the life that I wanted to live
Mm-hmm.
with no following by not following like the common path.
Okay.
Because like I met this guy, he was an Italian one. At the age of 22, he moved from Italy to London. He started working in a no, I mean like he launched a startup over there, raised some capital, and like he was a kid like, I don't know, made a few years ago from like Campania, so close to Naples and so on. So I was thinking, okay, I can do potentially whatever I want. In
Yeah.
like there are absolutely some limits, but some people helped me to realize that. It was also like the time I remember that one of my people that I followed a lot was like Dario Vignali,
Yeah.
because like
Marketers founder.
it was before of marketers. So I
Okay.
remember in marketers, yeah, no, it was before marketers. I remember his blog called dariovignali.net, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I followed all of the blog posts, I read all of the blog posts that he published, um, and like at a time, it was like starting out the culture of, okay, potentially you can leave whatever you want, you can work with your laptop and your internet connection and all of this stuff. And consider that I was like, I felt myself like, okay, I'm in this bubble in Sicily, in Messina, where all of the people around me that, I don't know, I don't feel like a strong connection, deeper connection with them. Wow, that thing could be like amazing for me. And for this, like, I pushed a lot because I felt that it was something that was like, um, I felt mine, like I felt the journey mine more than other ones.
How did you manage the pressure from your parents or from the people around you?
Um, so I felt that um, regarding like the people around me, like friends, I didn't feel like a lot of pressures because like they are not, I don't know, I I wasn't like competing with them, but potentially playing different games. Okay, so that's totally fine. I didn't feel like pressure for them. I felt some pressures from like I mean, like my parents were amazing, like with me. I mean, like they push me. Okay, you have to study, but at the same time, they never said to me, you have to close your laptop and go to
Okay.
study. It was like, okay, you have to study, but at the same time, I know that you're doing something that you want to do,
Hmm.
and please do that. So they in some ways they understand me. Okay, I think it was like, yeah, sort of. I had some pressure, but that type of pressure, I decided to push the pressure into myself
Okay.
because, like, I knew that in that years where all of the people around me were are like they had to study to be good at school and after that going to university, that was like my that years was like my master degree to in a get a startup job after that. So like I felt a lot of my pressure because like I knew that I need to meet people. I need to learn, I don't know, some skills about how to build
Hmm.
websites, how to sell products online, and all of this stuff. So yeah,
So you put
it's
pressure on
also,
yourself.
yeah, but also like right now. Also right now, like with a startup that I'm doing, is always like nobody around me like put me pressure. I put a lot of pressure into myself because like I don't know why, because I don't know why, but I put a
You're
lot of
built different.
no, I don't know, but probably because like in some ways I love this game where like you have a lot of pressure, you have to run, you have like super ambitions, plans, and so on. It's something that I love to play. Probably, I don't know, probably not for the rest of my life, but let's see, I don't know. But yeah, I put a lot of my pressure into myself.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think about it? Because I think that a certain amount of pressure it's what puts you into the zone, into doing stuff that you wouldn't do if you wouldn't have that pressure.
It is absolutely, and probably for these reasons, I started like to put pressure into myself because like I am the type of guy where I perform better where like my pressure is like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
strong in some ways. But the key point that I learned is that that's fine to have like put pressure into yourself. That's fine to have super like bold ambition and so on. But the key point is you have to remember always where you started. Because if you remember always where you started, you can realize and you can like say thanks to yourself because like already the things that you achieved were great compared to
Hmm.
other people that I don't know started from San Francisco with totally different context and so previous work experiences and so on. So that's the main thing that I when I put a lot of pressure, I stop like and I say, okay, probably I have to be like grateful to the things that I'm living that I did regarding like the challenge that I'm facing to and so on. So yeah, that's the way how I manage the pressure, being like grateful and being like I want this, so like nobody is pushing. I want
Okay.
this, and when I
Centered.
want, potentially I can stop.
Hmm. Did you ever had a burnout? Because I think the worst part of putting a lot of pressure to you is at a certain point maybe you feel it's too much.
No, I never like had a burnout in my life. Probably this thing happened because like I listened to my body and my mind a lot. So where I don't know, I'm when I realized that I don't know, like my level of energy for a few days are not the common one. I like stop to relax a little. I start to like relax a little bit more, or I don't know, doing a lot of sports, and all of the things that I know that help me to, uh, yeah, don't go into burnout. Um, I never tried that. And another thing that helped me a lot is I know that in all of the books about startup, everyone writes something like you are like the startup journey is a roller coaster. One day you're up, one day everything sucks around you, and so on. And when I started building the company, I started to realize that this thing is extremely true.
Hmm.
But the great thing is when you are so down, you I start like thinking that that moment will pass very soon. And it's always through this. So like I don't know if an investor will send an email like in a few years from now saying no, I don't want to invest in you. This is the motivation and etc. Probably for the upcoming 30 minutes, your reaction is like, "Oh, fuck."
Yeah.
But like I know that in a few years from there, something good will happen. So like this helped me to have always a balance.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you just yeah detach from the present negative moment and you.
Yeah, it was hard at the beginning. I remember it was, yeah, it was hard. But another thing that I realized doing playing this game is there is nothing like never happen like a moment where you win everything, and never happen a moment where you lost everything. In
Hmm.
your mind potentially could be, I don't know,
Yeah.
you take on board one of the strongest merchant on a fashion vertical, and you can start thinking, oh great, right now the company will go like growth like crazy. Never happen. And at the same time, if something very wrong like will happen into your company, the truth is that 99.9% of the case, the company will continue like to go.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
survive.
yeah.
Hey, quick pause. If you're finding value in this conversation, I have a favor to ask you. Please share this episode with someone who needs it. Even a single share will make an incredible impact. You will help someone and help us grow, reach more leaders, and bring you even better stories to learn from. Thanks for your support. Now let's get back to it. Please guide me, and guide us through the process from you leaving Sicily, going in London, and now founding with a bunch of beautiful people. Text yes.
Yep. So the journey was like I'm trying to condense. So like I was born in Sicily. I grew up over there. At the age of 18, I moved from Sicily to London. I started working there. After a few months that I moved, the startup where I was working failed. So like I had no salary. London was like so expensive, and so unfortunately, after a few months moving there, and consider that for me it was like, oh my god, I'm living a dream. Because like you move from high school, Messina, family to London. I'm working. I'm extremely like independent, and all of the people around me were studying, and I'm working. Yeah. So it was like uh, a dream for me. But yeah, the dream unfortunately after a few months ended, and like. I moved to no, I mean like I came back to Sicily. So for 4 months, I remember that months, and after 4 months there, I realized that I needed to like to move from there, and I moved to Milan, and I
Okay.
started working in a right now I think it's one of the largest European e-commerce travel group called OneDay Group with more
Hmm.
than 100 million in annual revenue. And I started working there as a marketing specialist. So I had to promote the product that they were selling at the time. Um, I was working there. The environment was amazing, but at the same time, and I learned a lot thanks to all of my colleagues and so on. But I felt that working in a company with hundreds of employees was not the type of thing that I wanted to. Because, like you are part of a big organization, and I didn't feel like it was the thing that I wanted to do. So after doing that, what I did was like I launched um, I launched an agency.
Okay.
Uh, so like a growth marketing agency with my co-founder. I had an agency for something more than like 1 year. We were so focused on helping startups to validate their products, go to market, and so on. Um, the key thing that I realized at the time was like that, it wasn't my path. Like
Okay.
I didn't work as a consultant
Hmm.
because like every problem that I was trying to solve I felt that it wasn't mine. So like I preferred to be 100% focused only to a specific company. Okay,
Hmm.
go much more into details than like what you can do by being consultant. So that experience helped me to like put off another option for like my future. And all of the things that I did in the past was like always to understand better what for real I want to do. So like
Mm-hmm.
when I jump into OneDay, I never thought, oh, I want to scale into this company. No, the
Yeah.
key thing for me was like this type of environment, this type of companies could be good for me for what I want to do, yes or no. If is no, okay, move on.
Okay.
I think helped me a lot because like in a short amount of time you can do different experiences. And so yeah, after that, if I talk a lot, please stop me. And
No, 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 no.
so after the agency, I found a company called Startup Geeks, and they were one of the customers of the agency. So they were helping them like a little bit on growth. They were launching for the first time, and I felt like so connected with the founders. I loved what they were building. I loved the attitude that they had, and for this reason, I decided to work with them full time. So I quit the agency and I moving there.
Okay.
I was the first employee of the company. It was like basically, yeah, a sort of startup accelerator in Italy. I helped them to. I was working there like a head of growth marketer, and so on. And we did an amazing journey, moving like I don't know from zero up to 500K in annual revenue in 12 months, something like that. I worked there as a for 1.5 years, and after that, I realized, okay, that's amazing. I learned a lot of things about how to execute to move from zero to one, but right
Mm-hmm.
I want to work with a startup with a super like bold ambition, with international investors and so on. And what I did was like joining a startup called Blink, which was offering same day delivery for e-commerce companies in Europe. The
Yeah.
startup was accepted by Y Combinator, so like the largest,
Yeah. The big
um,
one.
the big one. And I worked there as a growth manager. Uh, and yeah, at the time I realized, okay, so that's I that's exactly what I want to do. Being able to build products in a very like international, super bold ambition, being able to capture like value. I don't know, raising from investors, put all of this money into the growth of the company, and build a company with a super like go big and or go attitude.
Full on.
Yeah, full on. And after that, after Blink, there I was saying like the company was selling same delivery service for e-commerce companies in Europe. So I was like so deep into the e-commerce space. My role was growth manager, but a startup never reached product market fit before. So like every day, so not a lot of growth to do. My daily job was like talking to merchants to understand the main pain points that they have by running their e-commerce business. And the key thing that I realized at the time is that the main struggle that e-commerce stores have right now is related to retention, because the two main
Yeah.
retention channels that they are using are becoming saturated. Paid advertising costs in the last 5 years, the customer acquisition cost increased by 60%, and at the same time, fewer and fewer people open emails from brands. So they are looking for new revenue streams where they can get so high the attention of their customers, and WhatsApp is the perfect one for that. So I understood that it was like a little bit missing part into the market of solution and so on. And yeah, I started building TextDS from that like intuition and from that customer discovery process that I did when I was there. Yeah.
So you jumped on a yeah, hole in the market you discovered.
Yeah, it was like talking to merchant, asking to them what's the main pain that you have right now, what's the main struggle that you are, what's the thing that you I don't know. You wake up at night and saying, "Oh fuck, I have to understand how to do that." So
Yeah.
um, I try to ask a lot of times this to people, and the amount of insights, the amount of feedback that you receive are like crazy. I love like building company into this way,
Mm-hmm.
but also like building building products in general. So I think that there are two ways of building companies: top down and bottom up. Top down is like, okay, I know that the world is going into that direction.
Yeah.
My plan from, I don't know, 5 years from now about how the product should evolve, how the targets should evolve. Like you build a super like custom plan, everything is so defined and so on. And there are super good founders that like with this approach are winning.
Mm-hmm.
My approach is much more like bottom up. So and a great example about bottom up execution is the example of Revolut. When Nikolai, the founder of Revolut, launched the company, they had like a problem for a super niche market. And the great thing about Revolut is that the way they are doing execution is like, okay, you start selling to that merchant. That merchant, after buying your product, you can build a relationship with them, and you will ask always more, which is your problems, and like your solution will expand over time, your target will expand over time, your TAM will expand over time. And like, I don't know, in more than 10 years from now, they right now are building the super financial app and so on. And we are trying to execute in his way in TextDS. So starting from a specific pain point and like month after month, being able to expand always more the big picture about a company. Yeah.
Always, it always comes up to my mind this quote that I don't know where I get it from, but I think it relates a lot with what you say. Everything you want is a one question away.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. And I think one of the key things is like that a lot of people, but also myself, I don't know, we never ask enough.
Yeah,
Potentially you can ask enough things to to more people and so on, and the amount of like feedback, insights, how you can grow, can expand exponentially. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Super. What a journey, I would say. What a journey.
It was
You
fun.
see, I was right on thinking about startups on your word. Um,
It was
uh,
fun.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It is looking at your story. Um, you've met a lot of people on all your journey. You've been a founder. You are a founder right now. You were a co-founder. What's the what are the qualities of the founder that you would like to have and supposedly you're trying to be?
Wow. uh I think like often about this. I was like regarding, I don't know, put my pressure into myself, being able how I can improve and so on. So I think that the main qualities that like I miss a little bit are being able. I'm very um, I'm the type of founder with like put a lot of energy on execution, a lot of focus, effort on execution. But sometimes I realize that I should be able to uh, see the big picture a
Hmm.
little bit like not so closer. I mean, it was like sometimes I realized that I have to think more before to act.
Okay. Okay.
Instead, like my approach is like, okay, move fast, do things. If the things don't work, we can change it.
Hmm.
But this could be like good mindset where you are, I don't know, one people, two people into the team, you can test fast. But when you have like to move people around you, they give trust to you, and like you like miss one, two, three, four, five things. for probably the same way of like not putting a lot of effort on thinking before acting. it, this is one of the things that I want to improve a lot in these months, in these years. Another thing is, yeah, I think that's the mainly one. No, absolutely not the only one, but that's the main one.
Mm.
Another one could be like, sometimes I feel that I have to be like more exposure. I'm so focused on building the company, but
Hmm.
sometimes you have like to be able to see the company in a different perspective, because like if you are too in,
Yeah.
it's not so easy to understand which are the main problems that a company are facing right now, the things that you have to improve. So in some ways I should like to go a little bit like, um, watch all of the things in a broader way.
Yeah.
Because if you are able to do that, could be easier to understand which are the bottlenecks, what you can improve, and so on. That's the other thing that I want to do. Yeah, this too.
Do you
I would
take
say.
time? Do you take some time to reflect?
Mm, I don't like, I don't know, put a slot into my calendar saying,
Hmm.
okay, right now you have to think. But it's always happened when I don't know, when I missed something. So when I miss something, when I don't get a goal at a time, I stop myself and I realize why this thing is happening,
Okay.
what I missed, why, and so on. Yeah.
So you ask question, ask why.
Yeah, ask why to myself, to my colleagues.
Mm.
One of the things that I do very often is like asking to them, which are the things that that you think I could like do like in a different way, or better, and this thing like helps me. But a super like common, example. A few days ago, we met a venture capital from Germany. It was like the third call with the partners of this fund. They asked me to connect also with my co-founder Edvaldo, and after we after we finished the call, the first thing that I did was like I called my co-founder, asked to him like, what's the things that you think that I should like I should do better for the following meetings, um, and this thing helped me a lot to improve. Yeah,
So feedback. It's hard.
yeah.
It's hard to receive feedback. It's not an easy part.
But I think it's the I'm super happy to receive it, because
Hmm.
like I know that the people around me trust me, because like if they are not working at XTS probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know it, but at the same time, I love receive feedbacks, and like also the hardest ones, because are the main way that you can, if like do execution by seeing these feedbacks and so on, everything will be much easier if you listen the right feedbacks. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Listening to feedbacks is, and it's the key for the growth. Otherwise, you don't grow if you don't know what you could do better. So
Yeah,
totally agree with you. Um,
absolutely.
what's been the hardest moment in your personal journey, uh, personal or working related journey, and what lesson did you take out from it?
So I think it was like, I had different moments. during
Mm-hmm.
like my journey. Absolutely. I was one of the first one was when the moment that I was telling to you before. So when I moved to London at 18, after a few months I had to come back to Sicily. It was like super hard for me to accept that, because like you were okay, I'm like living this dream and I have to quit right now, coming back to my parents, to their house and so on. So it was extremely hard to accept it, like in an emotional way. Um, Another one was when I quit a job at Blink.
Mm-hmm.
I Before founding TextYes, I launched another company, like for a few months. The company was like a sort of um, AI software that help you to generate 10 times faster email marketing campaigns for your e-commerce store. Uh, we did that with my co-founder before like the going out of ChatGPT. So it was like at the
Yeah.
beginning. After a few months, we realized after like ChatGPT were out, we realized that we couldn't build super strong business with that product. So we decided to sell the business at acquire.com. So this marketplace where you can buy or sell software as a service or other stuff. And after sold that software, um, I had a sort of moment. What I, what I'm, what I have to do right now. W- which are the next step for my life?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I had not like a clear idea about what to do, and all of this stuff. So it was hard. And I remember, so a few years ago, and I remember the first thing that I did was like. I did the Santiago's walk, so
Yeah.
Camino de Santiago, yeah, for 10 days, something like that, alone, and it was like so great for me because like I listened a lot myself. I understood which are the things that I love the most about life, what I want to do, and so on. And after coming back from Santiago's walk, I started building taxis basically. So it was
Wow.
like a sort of moment that I wanted to took to in order to understand better which are the things that I for real wanted to do. And yeah, another, yeah, I think this is the two key ones, and I have the third one. When we after like 1 year launching TextYes, we decided to completely switch our core product.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, when we started, it was like, yeah, this conversational marketing platform for e-commerce businesses, but it was much more focused on SMS. The
Mm-hmm.
company was doing good like for the first year of the company, but like we realized that what the merchant were looking for, and also like for the vision that we have in the long term, doing SMS in Europe in particular, from I don't know WhatsApp or other messaging apps, were a wrong thing to do. And and like in 1 week, we decided to like completely switch what the
Wow.
product was offering to merchant, and it was hard because like you have something that is growing well. The people that are working into your team know exactly what they have to do and so on, but in 1 week you realize that you have to change.
Yeah.
And it was like at a time hard in some ways because you always, every time that you have to change something, you know what you have, you don't know what you can like could have by
Yeah.
doing this that change. It was hard because like you have to convince people around you that it was like the good thing to do. They have to trust you, and yeah, this moments.
Face the unknown.
Yeah, face the unknown. But I think that's when you're building companies, like you're facing the unknown every day, and in some way you have to convince yourself that that's fine. Because if you can't be able to manage that, that's not the work, that's not the job for you.
How do you manage it?
I realize always more that I see like the building of companies like playing a video game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine that, I don't know, you're playing this video game, you are like level one, level zero, so the incorporation of your company. You move from level one, that is like, okay, find your first customer, level two, find your co founder, and etc. etc. The amazing thing about playing this video game is that potentially is a game with no hand. So potentially this game, like literally, I don't know, you can, I don't know, go public into Nasdaq 10 years from now, but you want to continue to grow.
Yeah.
And so it's an endless game. And that's one of the things that and like, I'm saying that because when you play a video game and you lost a particular game, potentially you know that your life can continue.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a game. And I realize this every time that I come back, for example, during Christmas or summer into Sicily. Because like at Christmas or with my family and so on, they are not for real interested about like text yes about this company and so on.
Yeah.
They are interested about you. How do you
Mm-hmm.
feel? Are you happy about what you're doing and so on? So when I have these moments, I realize that it's like a game that I'm playing is a bubble. um, and so it's always easier to accept the idea of failure. um, and another thing that I that helps me to accept like the unknown, face the unknown, is that I'm optimizing for growth, for my growth.
Okay.
And I think that building a company is the main thing that you can do in order to optimize for your professional growth. Because the amount of things that you do for the first time, the amount of people that you know for the first time, um, like is incredible. And I'm grateful about that because like every day you wake up and you're learning something new. So
Mm-hmm.
also if like the company is not going like super well, and I don't know, I will decide to do something new in the future, I know that it was like the journey that helped me to grow in a faster way than different like jobs that potentially I could do.
Okay.
Absolutely, there are some pros and cons. So that's the pros. The cons is that you are always involved, your mind is always over there. It's pretty hard to, manage your mind in some way. Emotional roller coaster. You don't know what the fuck you're doing, but you have to do. And you don't know what you're doing, but at the same time you have to convince people around you to go into that specific direction. You have to sell every day, you have to sell to yourself, you have to sell to your colleagues, you have to sell to potential customers, you have to sell to investors, so you have to sell you but that's the game.
Wow. Wow. What a point of view. What a point of view. Yeah, looking at as a game, it takes out some of the unwanted pressure, I think. Yeah. What
But
about
because like you realize that it's a game that you decided to play this
yeah,
game.
yeah.
When you want, you can stop if you want.
Hmm.
Absolutely, it will be so hard for a lot of reasons. but we decided to play this game in this way.
Yeah.
Nobody pushed us to do that.
Yeah.
And absolutely the amount of pressure that you have, I think, but I don't know, probably can change, where you want to do a journey where, I don't know, you want to raise money from investors. So if you raise money from investors, you have to grow fast,
Yeah.
extremely fast, like 3 pair every year for the first few years, 2 pair every year, for like, I don't know, 6 years of the company. Probably, I don't know, if you want to build, I don't know, lifestyle business, absolutely you have super, things that you have to be able to do. But probably also the amount of pressure that you have into yourself is a little bit different, but I don't know. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Thanks. Thanks for this point of view. One thing that comes in my mind is, what about the relationships? How do you manage the relationship? Because often success, and everyone has their type of success, comes with a cost, and often this cost is managing relationship, because sometimes maybe you have to put yourself into the work, into playing that game, and maybe relationships are not super involved into that game. Maybe they you feel don't understood sometimes.
I think that, I mean, like, it was always sort of, I'm feeling good about the relationship that I have in my mind. So I start
Hmm.
from this.
Okay.
But this comes from a sort of maturity process that I had from, I don't know, 18. So right now I'm 25. So in the last 7 years, where like I learned always, more about how to manage relationship in a good way, but at the same time, how to be able to have the type of relationship that you need in order to be good with yourself, being able to push more, and so on. So, like, I'm not a type of guy that is like, I don't know, with I feel that I have, I don't know, 10, around 10 super good friends around me. Not like that all of them are living in Berlin, they are based
Hmm.
in different part of the world, but I have like this sort of people that know me very well, that know me like from 10 years from now, something like that. Not everyone like from 10 years, but I feel so connected with them, and they know the journey that I decided to embrace years ago. So, like for example, one of my closest friend is a guy. He was like my roommate when we moved in London from Messina to London at the age of 18. So we did a lot of things together. So I have these relationships. I have like my girlfriend right now more than 5 years together. So it's a long relationship. I think that I'm not the type of guy with a group of friends, big group of friends. I don't like that. I have that like that one, two, three super like small groups, but where you can feel so engaged with them.
Hmm.
Um, at the same time, as you mentioned correctly, there is like always a cost where you push a lot into what you want to do. But like I come back to one of the things that I was mentioning to you before, that is like finding always a balance. So like I know that my balance require that, I don't know, after dinner I want to spend time with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Every like after every dinner, there are some cases where it could be like a little bit harder if you have, I don't know, some deadlines and so on, but also or I don't know, during weekends, being able to call my closest friends that are living far away from Berlin, or going out with a small groups of friends over here, uh, I feel that I'm not like in a right now. I'm not looking for new friends. So
Okay. Okay.
I feel that I'm so okay with the relationship that I have in my mind, that I have in my life, and I want to put more time to manage always better these type of relationships instead of like building new ones. um, the cost here, I mean, not the cost, but the thing that sometimes is not so easy is that people around you, but the closer friends, if they are for real closest to you, they understand that if you are saying no to going out to take a beer or other
Yeah.
stuff, they know that you are doing that for a specific reason. They accept, and in some way they like that part, because you know that you have to have a lot of discipline. You have to be so focused and so on. But you have to find like the right people that can like accept that. And yeah.
I really like what you said, balance, which is it's it's for sure hard to achieve, and it not for me personally. It doesn't mean every day has to be balanced, because that's very hard. I think that's impossible. But having a balance between periods, maybe period where, as you say, maybe during the week you don't catch with your friends, but on the weekends, yes. Same thing with your girlfriend. Nights are with your girlfriend, but during the day you focus on other things. So having balance in the whole picture, not in the micro picture.
Absolutely. In particular, if you want to play these games potentially for decades,
Yeah.
because like what we are doing is not a rush. I don't know, 2 years, 3 years rush, and after that
Yeah.
rush we want to sell the company and go to Maldives. No, it's like more, I don't know, I want to potentially play these games, if not with text, yes, I don't know, with other companies in the future for decades and
Hmm.
decades and decades. So in particular, if you so and another thing that in every business book you can read is doing a startup is like running a marathon.
Yeah.
And that's totally true. So it's not like running 100 meters. You have to, it's a long, extremely long run. You don't know where, when this run can end. So you have to be balanced. You have to, one of the key things that Y Combinator, partners of Y Combinator suggest to startup founders is uh, sleep and train. uh,
Crazy.
because like they know that that's the core, uh,
Wow.
because it's a journey where potentially is extremely long, and you have to be ready to manage that.
Beautiful. I didn't know it. Very nice to hear that, and demystify also a bit of that 100% push every day, every hour, every minute, every second. At
Yeah,
the end, on the long, maybe in the short run it's okay. We said it, but on the long run, you crush yourself, and you don't
yeah,
don't
yeah,
go
yeah.
anywhere. You don't go anywhere.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Um.
There are
So
always like some periods in life, so sorry if I interrupt you,
no,
but
no, no.
there are like some sort of some periods in life where, I don't know, you feel that you want to push a lot.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
only
yeah,
thing that you want to do, and it's
yeah,
totally fine.
yeah,
And you can do that, but these periods can change a little bit. I don't know, when I 18, when I moved to London, probably I was like much more, I don't know, with that mindset, with that
yeah.
attitude.
But which is
Right
okay.
now,
Is
yeah,
okay.
it's okay, absolutely, absolutely. Right now, a different one, yeah.
You grown. Oh,
Yeah.
Riccardo, one question for you. One last question for you. If today was your last speech, your last last chat, last post. What do you want to be remembered for?
Oh wow. Amazing question. So I would say, um, I would love to. I would love to. I would love to be remembered.
Yeah, yeah,
Or I mean, the thing that I would love like to pass is that be able to the core that I want to pass is like you can do whatever like potentially you for real want to do. And I love stories about people that I don't know start from nothing with a super like not common path. They decided to realize their self, and realize their self is like not I don't know being millionaire. I don't mind about that. Realize yourself. I mean, like I don't know, you're living the life that you want to build, that you want to live, and that's the only thing that at the end matters. And I would love that I don't know always more people realize that and push a lot in order to do what they want to do for real in their life. And also like if you start from I don't know not like good context, from I don't know your family, from a specific geography, and so on. If you push in a right way, you can realize like yourself, and that's the thing that I think that I always try to remember to myself every time that I face some challenge, hard to overcome. um and the only thing that matters is that I don't know, years and years from now, you can like see yourself in a mirror saying, being grateful to yourself for how you managed all of the pain in order to get what you wanted to get, um, with no shortcuts. And I love that, because like is a war I don't know, I'm seeing specifically like I don't know in the startup fundraising, I don't know, me and my co-founder are the identikit of founders, not like so we don't like a lot to VCs for the background that we have and so on. So because like in particular international investors, they are looking for I don't know, where did you study? Yeah, I went to Bocconi, I went to INSEAD for my
yeah.
MBA. After that, I worked at McKinsey. After 2 years at McKinsey, I worked at Rocket Internet for 5 years, and after that, I worked as a chief of staff for the startup that raised 100 million, and right now I'm ready to build my company. This is the type of profiles that VCs are like, trying to
Searching
instead
for,
like
yeah,
my yeah searching for, instead like my profile and my co-founder profile are completely different. So we never I didn't went to university, my co-founder decided to drop out. With the experience that we had in the past, yeah, are like different companies the companies that I was mentioned to you before. So it's like 10x harder,
yeah,
but you have to accept that, because like the context and where you started is completely different than where the other started, and you have to accept that. And the great thing is that if you're able to win, it will be, I think, 10 times much more beautiful, you know
yeah.
because you push yourself over your limits and so on in order to get what you want to get. So yeah.
Wow. Wow. Riccardo, thank you for being here. Thank you for your words. It was truly inspiring, and I'm sure that will inspire a lot of uh, newbie startuppers that want to build their products. And yeah, thanks.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for you. Amazing questions. I love this chat, and yeah, keep going. Thank you.
Thank you.